North Korea has confirmed it has successfully launched another medium-range ballistic missile. Sunday's test comes a week after Pyongyang tested what it said was a new type of rocket capable of carrying a large nuclear warhead. This latest missile flew about 500 kilometers toward the Sea of Japan. Japan has responded, saying it will raise the matter at the G7 summit, while the United States has hinted at further sanctions on Pyongyang.
The ongoing testing is disappointing, it's disturbing, and we ask that they cease that, because until they cease that testing, clearly they have not changed their view. But I think we're early into the game of putting pressure on them, and one could also interpret that perhaps they're just acting out now in response to some of this pressure that I believe they're beginning to feel.
Journalist Joseph Kim is covering the story in Seoul for us there. Joseph, good to see you. South Korea's defense ministry held a briefing regarding North Korea's latest missile test. What did they have to say?
Yes, South Korea's defense ministry said that they believe, alongside the United States, that North Korea, with this recent missile test, has secured meaningful data in terms of their missile technology program. Now, this briefing comes just after the North Korean state media said that the rocket launch was successful and that their leader, Kim Jong-un, has ordered its deployment and the mass production of these missiles, which is something that we haven't heard from the state media say very often. Now, the United States, as well as Japan, has condemned the move, and it's something that South Korea's new president, Moon Jae-in, has also said needs a stern response. But in the press briefing, the South Korean military official also said that they would also pursue diplomacy, that they would not only apply pressure, but that they would try to use this tactic that the new president has said in terms of trying to also talk and use diplomacy, but as well as add pressures in terms of international sanctions, as well as talks and pressure.
Joseph, you mentioned that North Korea called the missile test a success. So how close are they to developing a working intercontinental ballistic missile?
Well, right now it does seem that North Korea is getting closer to that, especially because this recent test, which was a solid fuel engine, which is something that we just saw earlier this year, and it becomes harder to detect when they use this type of missile, that they were successful in flying it 500 kilometers. Now, this just comes after 1 week where they test fired a different type of missile, which flew some 2,000 kilometers, went up 2,000 kilometers, and the trajectory as well as the duration of time that it was in the air was very troubling in terms of how much they're progressing in terms of their missile technology. So it does seem that with every test, North Korea does seem to be getting closer. Now, South Korea's defense ministry as well as the United States are doubtful that North Korea really does have the technology for re-entry. So that means that even if the missile goes up, it doesn't know if it can come back down. This still is being analyzed, but once they get that technology in, especially because these are all mid-long range missile, it could be soon that they will have these intercontinental ballistic missiles as well.